So horizon and perspective are a little bit tricky, and I want to talk about what happens, like where your camera is relative to the horizon with actual photographs. Okay, so it's not just a rendering that's being forced; it's an actual photograph. So starting sort of in the middle, what I was trying to say before is that when your camera is level with the horizon, both in position and angle, up and down, like relatively eye height, okay, and not facing up or facing down with a dramatic angle. What you're going to wind up with is you're going to wind up with a horizon line that's approximately here, and for the most part, depending on how tall your people are and how exact your camera position is, everybody's head is going to fall within 6 inches of the horizon line. Okay, it's just, if you look back in perspective and you're looking at the horizon with your camera and you're approximately eye height, that's where it's going to wind up. Some people are a little bit shorter, some people are a little bit taller. Okay, so this is a good image, I think, of what you're getting, what you're sort of going to see. Now, the farther you are back in the image, the shorter your person is. Meaning, the person who's farthest back is shorter than the people who are closer to the camera, right? So the people in the back are aligned to that middle one, and the people up front are more appropriately aligned to something like that. Okay, does that make sense? So that's what I'm getting at. Unfortunately, the image I chose to Photoshop the guy into has a camera angle that's facing slightly upward, so the horizon falls down, and he's actually a little bit taller than the image, which is closer to something like this. Okay, so this is what you were seeing in the image before. The camera angle was a little bit low, the person stood a little bit higher, and so where the horizon is approximately here, so you can see in the background the people are approximately level with my camera, but as they get closer, they're not growing down in the frame, they're actually growing up. So midway through the frame they're about here, and up towards the front of the frame they're about there. Okay, so it's sort of, at that point it becomes a little bit more of a guessing game the farther away you are from being level with the horizon and angled at the horizon. Does that make sense? So the more extreme it gets is something like this, where it really is a guessing game, and you need to start using relative dimensions to things throughout the frame in order to size them appropriately. So here, our horizon is, I'm guessing it's somewhere around there. So every single person, like these guys up front, probably took their feet and then went to the 42 inches of the rail at about their hip height. Or I guess that's probably only like 36 inches. Whoops. Sorry. And then they doubled that to get their head height. Does that make sense? Approximately doubled it. So, I mean, they basically just took a line, went from their feet location to this rail, went up to there, took that value, doubled it, and then went back here to get their head height. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So, and you kind of have to do that continually throughout the image for all of the people that you're placing in something like this when you're using an unusual viewpoint. Okay? So what questions do you have on that? Anything? So anyway, from I guess, for lack of a better term, from a beginner's perspective, you want to be careful to try and select some camera angles that are sort of angled to the horizon as you begin. It's sort of going to be easier for you to figure out, but that doesn't mean completely shy away or don't do anything that has an extreme or dramatic angle. You just need to practice getting the right proportions. Okay? Anyway, that's all.